In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Delike Alpha. So let's jump straight to the end with my thoughts on this pen. This was not the first Delike Alpha that I had, and that'll come up later. Actually, the first one I had, I thought I was purchasing the brass Kaweco Sport and was getting it used as a deal. And I was wrong. This is quite a bit different, perhaps even a little bit of an improvement because of having a converter. While it's heavily inspired by, I definitely prefer the converter that it uses. I find it to be much nicer than the Kaweco converters. Heavily inspired by, yes. Not 100% sure that this is a copy because of the improvement that they've made. I do find it enjoyable to use, but if I'm actually writing a full page, as the page gets closer to the end, I do find my hand starts to cramp, but that might be a mental problem for me. Now that we know how I feel about the Delike Alpha, let's see how we got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. The Delike Alpha comes in a box like this. Like the Kaweco Sport, this also comes in that metal tin, which I like their tin. I think it's very pleasant to look at. It's interesting packaging. I do kind of wish that they went a different direction just because of the inspiration for the pen itself. But at least you can reuse this for something else. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. And as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap, I'm generally okay. So how many turns does it take to uncap? The Delike Alpha takes 1.5 turns to uncap. As a bonus for this pen, in comparison to the Kaweco Sport, if you really want that pocket clip, it does come with it without any extra charge. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a medium steel nib on it. The first Delike Alpha I had their fine nib on it, and luckily bad things happened with that pen because I found that fine nib to be so sharp that it could cut the paper while I was writing. Now, I'm not unused to fine nibs. I do enjoy Japanese fine nibs, but that one on the Delike was especially sharp. It's medium nib, very nice to use. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Delike Alpha uses a standard international cartridge or converter and holds approximately 0.8 milliliters of ink. The ink for today is Omos Black. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, but some people like to post pens, and some pens need to be posted to use comfortably. This pen does post, and you most likely will need to post it in order to actually use it. It posts securely, as you would expect. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, the important part, the writing sample. In general, as a pocket pen, I find this to be incredibly good, especially since what led me towards wanting a metal pocket pen. My original pocket pen was plastic, and I kept losing it and putting it through the laundry. Wanted something a bit heavier and went looking for the brass one. Enter the brass Delike Alpha the first time. Now, the major problem that I had with that one, that it's no longer with me, is the inner seal inside the cap. It came loose, and there was no way for me to get it out to re-glue it in. It was inexpensive, and I could have dealt with that. But there was just no way to do it. I had to purchase a replacement pen, because I don't think this is a bad pen. Now, it didn't stop me down the line from getting the Brass Sport, because I really did want that pen. This is not the same, while I do see some of what happens here as an improvement. I do have to say that I get the cramping with this on any extended writing, although I don't see this as a pen you purchase for extended writing sessions. Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Mnemosyne Blue to do this, and here's how it compares to a Jowo Extra Fine on the left, medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. While I have the medium nib on this one, I do think it's probably more practical to have the fine nib on there as a pocket pen for signing receipts or dealing with the cheap paper that most people use as you run into them in the wild. But how does this pen compare to other nibs I've used? Looking at the writing of a Delike Alpha with a medium nib, here it is next to a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, the Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya with a Fountain Pen Revolution Flex nib, the Noodler's Ahab with their Flex nib, a Noodler's Ahab with a Fountain Pen Revolution Gold Flex nib, and a Pilot Vanishing Point with a medium nib. I do think the overall writing for this medium nib is a little bit smaller than some of the Western medium nibs, but again, as a pocket pen, for what this is mostly used for, I see that as a real win in this case, not anything negative at all. So it isn't a review without some size comparisons. Here it is uncapped, and here it is posted. The size of the pen, along with its cost, is what makes this pen a real winner and very worthwhile to have, which was the reason that even though my first one went bad, I went ahead and replaced it. It's always good to have a decent pocket pen that you don't have to worry about if you accidentally lose it or put it in the laundry 16 or 17 times. At this point, we have a dirty pen, so let's go clean it up. Be sure to check out the next pen review when we look at a Pelican M800. If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.